Ayy, chill. It's Tiggy. Turn it. Yeah. I told y'all I was coming. Thought I played, huh? Hey, I said one day I be on, one day I be good. One day make it out the hood and hope I'm living good. I said one day I be on, one day I be good. One day make it out the hood and hope I'm living good. I said one day I be on, one day I be good. One day make it out the hood and hope I'm living good. I said one day I be on, one day I be good. One day make it out the hood. Now have you ever had a dream? You make it out the hood. Ayy, chill. It's Tiggy. Turn it. Yeah. I told y'all I was coming. Thought I played, huh?
Thank you so much for Charday for attending the Homeless Diary. My name is Erica Mosley, and you guys, I have Miss Charday Miller here on this episode. It's so exciting because the power of LinkedIn. I met her on LinkedIn, and she connected. She said, "Hey, thank you for connecting. I see what you're doing out here." And I said, "How you doing, girl?" And I honestly reached out to her and said, is your job hiring? And she said, yeah, and I'll give you a referral. So we just started from that way. And you guys know that I always talk about networking and connecting. And this is the proof in the pudding that Charday is actually a person that I met on LinkedIn. So that's just a brief introduction about how I met. Can you tell the world just a little bit about you and, some fun, interesting things to my audience?
Yes. Hi, everybody. My name is Charday Miller. I am a program manager for Conduent. Some fun facts about me. I'm a single mom. I am just now starting my tech career. I was in insurance for a really long time. And, I kind of just got my tech career started at Conduent, and I'm really enjoying it. It's fun. It's interesting. It's today. There's a lot of opportunities. So, that's just a little bit about me. As far as fun, like I enjoy going to the beach. I enjoy, the Bay Area is where I grew up. So I love everything Bay Area. Yeah, that's it.
Yeah. So how old is your son? You have a
My
son?
son, I have a son, yes. My son is 11 years old.
Wow. So how is he like dealing with the, at home challenge? Do he ready to go back to school? Because right now, you guys, today is September the 6th. And today we actually talking about like networking and the staying at home while sheltering in place. So today is September the 6th, 2020. And right now we have to actually just stay in place here in California. And me and Charday was talking before, like other places they are now we're venturing out. I think they are at stage 3 to where they're able to, go out and, party and, use some of the restaurants and salons, etc. How does your child feel about like staying at home during this time?
My son loves it. So both of us are homebodies. Like we like to hang out at the house. I think it's because, when you live in the Bay Area, you typically commute. So, you're always running from this location to the next. So the fact that we've spent so much time in our home is like so new to us, and we are soaking up all of it. But, he loves it. He loves not having to get up early. He loves, not having to go to his grandparents' house after school. He gets to be right back at home. He gets to turn on his video games and carry on about his day. So he's loving this.
So are you like so right now, like you have different hats. So now you are a teacher per se. How are you dealing with that? Is that a challenge for you, or do you have more respect for teachers now, or
I
can you
have
do
so
this?
much respect for teachers now. I'm like the hall monitor, like the principal. I caught him outside getting like some crackers and I was like, "Aren't you supposed to be in class right now?" He was like, "Yes." And I was like, "Get to class." Like I'm in the middle
Right.
of my meeting. So, yeah, I mean, I have so much respect for teachers, like the fact that just trying to log in and the first day that we started, it was so hard, and they were super helpful in connecting us and getting us all. And I know that they have to do this for most of their students. So I have so much respect for them as far as what they do every day. It's not easy. It definitely isn't easy.
So for all the single moms that's out there that has about like, one or up to four kids, any advice during this time? A lot of families come to me and ask me, what to do, like you said, challenges during this time. Any small advice?
Yeah, occasionally, like I help, I help my niece out. Like my niece will come and stay every other week with us because her mom is, working. So having the two of them logging in different places, and she's in second grade, so they're a little bit more loud, and he's in sixth grade, so he needs that quiet, and I'm in a whole nother room, having a meeting. I think the one thing that I can say as far as trying to balance and manage everything is to just set yourself up for the day. So like in the morning for my niece, I'm like, I put her lunch together as if she was going to school. So that way, if I have a meeting when she goes to lunch, she can just, have her lunch and not, interrupt my meetings and whatnot. But really it's just about setting yourself up in the morning or the night before and just kind of having them ready to go, pen, paper, pad, whatever you can pre-prep. I definitely believe that that's the best way to be successful. I mean, there's going to be things that happen that you don't control, but for the parts that you can, I definitely say plan ahead. That's my only advice. Plan
And I
ahead.
love and I love that, because and that goes to anyone. That goes to anyone that's, homeless, living couch to couch. All you have to do is basically have a schedule. So let's say
Hmm.
you at a shelter at nighttime, you know that you have to take care of your kids and make sure that they're on a computer. So make sure
Hmm.
that you get up earlier in the morning and make sure
Right.
that you have a designated spot to help
Hmm.
your kids during this time. So it's not no excuse. You just have to make sure that you have a dedicated schedule. So I'm
Right.
going to just ask you a couple of questions, since you said that you were a program manager, right? And
Yes.
do you enjoy working at home? How?
I love it. This is
Wow.
like my dream. Like, unfortunately, due to the circumstances, this is a horrific event that all of us are going through, because people are getting ill and losing their lives. But from the standpoint of being able to stay working, I'm super grateful. Like I'm completely blessed that I was able to still, hold down my job full time and work and do my job completely from home. So I'm super grateful for that. I actually love it because as a single parent, you don't get to see your kids that often during the week. And if you have a commute, it's, because like if you're a working mom or a working single father or whatnot, you only see your child at least once, right? In the morning, you either drop them off or you pick them up, depending on what your schedule is, if you're working full time. So
Right.
to be able to be here when he, at the beginning of school and at the end of school, and then to be able to spend the whole day with no interruption has been great because I've really gotten to know my son a lot more, and not just us on a schedule and having to get to this place to this place to this place. Like we actually spend a lot of time together. So I love it. I
And I love
love it.
that you said that too as well, because a lot of people get intimidated about schedule. So enjoy that you be able to have a schedule with your child, because at
Hmm.
first, like she said, you had to see them in the afternoon, and then the
Hmm.
schedule was put them in bed, cook, then wash them up, and then put them in bed. Now
Right.
you can be able to wear different hats and have a schedule. So that's also a blessing within a blessing. So
Right.
I love how you put that as well for everyone that's kind of overwhelmed with this. So yeah, so what are the challenges of like working at home? as well.
Um, there's a lot. So some of the challenges are like connectivity. Like we've had a couple of incidents where, you know, I've lost either power or I've lost internet connection in mid meeting, or, you know, Friday was difficult because all three of us, my niece, my son, myself, were down for a small amount of time. The other challenges for me for working from home is that there's really no end to work, right? So, you know, you'll end up working later and you'll end up working on weekends. And I've had some nights where I've worked until midnight just because the energy was there, you know, and the work needed to get done, and I needed to get it, you know, finished. So so, you know, it doesn't necessarily turn off, is kind of, that's the disadvantage of working from home, is that it never really ends. So, you know, it's good because you get to see your kids all the time, but there are moments where you're like, it's 7 o'clock and you're still hitting this right now. So like maybe you should disconnect. Or so I tend to work way more hours than what I used to, and I would just attend work and come home and be done, right?
So for someone that's watching this in probably 2031, right? And we wasn't prepared, and so we wasn't prepared for this. You know, what are some advice, you know, to give to them, to where now they working at home, and like you said, power outages and
Mm-hmm.
structure. What is some advice that you can give to them and during this time, so if they have to work at home,
At the
to the
advice,
companies as well?
because I mean, this is becoming a thing now, right? So like a majority of companies will see themselves saving money, right? It saves them money, and sending their employees to work from home. The one thing I can say about the connections are try to limit what's plugged in right now. I have so many different things. Everything runs on Wi-Fi. You have a billion TVs that's running on your Wi-Fi. To have some kind of source that you can turn those things off so that they're not utilizing in the background, because I noticed that I use way more of my terabyte that I had available than I ever have. And I was like, it's because I have too many things connected to the internet that are running in the background, running updates without me confirming. So just managing that part for the connection. There's nothing you can do with PG&E. It's summer, it's hot.
Right.
They're rolling blackouts. As far as like learning to turn it off though, when the day is over, I mean, that's just something you have to be more mindful about. You know, yeah, you don't have a commute anymore, and so you can spend more time getting back to work. And a lot of companies are actually finding that this is what's happening. So it's working to their benefit. People work more when they work from home. It's just natural. You don't take a break when you're working from home. You don't take a lunch when you're working from home. You just eat and work.
Right.
So I would say be mindful, because it is about quality of life. And burnout in
It's real.
stay in place is real. Okay.
Yes. So
About Thursday, I'm done.
right, right, right,
So
right, right. Right. So you think the company should also pay for like the Wi-Fi and also do extra vacation time as well, since you're automatically just working nonstop?
I mean, when you think about it, like from my point of view, if I had the option to completely work from home, I wouldn't mind paying my own Wi-Fi bill. Like I don't mind. Um, if extra vacation, I mean, none of us have actually taken vacation because we can't really go anywhere. So it's kind of been like, you know, why use the time? You know, even sick, right? Even when you're not feeling up to, you know, you're not feeling the best, you're like, I'm at home, so I could figure it out. I could, you know, figure this out for the day. I don't need to take a sick day. So you know, most companies are benefiting because they will see the reduction in people taking time off or sick days. You know, most people will just show up because they're at home. I don't really think that they should. I mean, I believe in unlimited vacation. I think we're all adults. I think that we're all going to get our job done. So I wouldn't say that they need to give us more time, because I believe that time should just be granted at leisure, right? Most people, if like studies show that most people don't actually take that much of their vacation throughout the year. So I don't have anything to add for that. But if they were like, you can work from home this entire time, I would be glad to pay my own Wi-Fi. Like I wouldn't ask them for anything. Yeah.
So guys, with that being said, what she is saying, get into the tech world. So that way you can have unlimited PTO, you know what I mean? And you're helping the company grow at the same time. Correct.
Yeah.
And you don't mind paying your Wi-Fi bill because you have
Right.
enough money, right? And you're growing as well, and you're successful at this point.
Right.
So when was the last time you actually attended a social gathering?
So I would say like I've probably been not the best shelter in place.
So we in California,
Rule
what was our
abider.
rules? Our rules was to, basically still to this day, to stay in place, right? We can't go really nowhere.
A lot of things that are still closed, like the movies, the nail salons aren't open, hair salons were open, but then closed again because of the increase. We could go to outdoor restaurants at some point, but then I think some counties were having massive outbreaks, and so that got shut down for some counties. It didn't help that the fires were another issue as far as with the air quality, and so we're at a place where I think people have decided to just take matters in their own hand in California. And like, I know, like, I've been to the beach and actually plan on going to the beach tomorrow. But,
with your mask, so.
Right. I mean, I'll have my mask. I will stay socially distanced from the other people. But this is the first time in my life where I've actually gone to the beach and I've seen so many people. Like I've never seen this many people at Alameda Beach, like particularly Alameda, because, it's not the best beach in NorCal. Like those are all in San Francisco, right? Yeah. So it was crazy to see that many people out, and it's been like that with the lake, right? The lake has seen an influx of people. So I mean, I haven't been like the best at social distancing or
I've
not
been
having
to the lake too as well. I mean,
yeah. I mean, you get like at some point you have to ask yourself, like, I'm working really hard, I'm working indoors, and like, can I go out and have some fresh air and still be smart, right? And still keep my distance from people, wear my mask, and and then come home in quarantine and just make sure that I am not transferring this to anybody if I do have it, and transfer it to anybody, making sure that I keep that washing my hands and just being more mindful. So far so good. I mean, I've actually gone to Atlanta at this time.
Atlanta, Georgia.
I did. I did in June. But I mean, I spend like 90% of my time in the house. So yes, 10% I'm not out here doing the right things, but it's fine.
Do you believe everyone's going, catch coronavirus, a percentage of it anyway?
I do. I think a huge part of us have probably either had it or are going to get it at some point. But I do think it has a lot to do with just your own immune system and just your own health as to how your body reacts to it. But I do believe that this will be as common as the cold or the flu for us, just because we still don't know how it's contracted. We just don't know how long it lives on a surface. We just don't know too much information. We're just getting so much information, and none of it is concrete enough to make a decision and say, I can prevent myself from getting this disease or this, this illness. So I do believe that at some point we will all get it, but that's just my belief.
Yeah, that's my belief too as well. I believe that, everyone will get it, just a portion of it, and everyone, immune system is different, and that's just a reality, and you can't be afraid to live life, but you do have to think smart. Yes. Some people is mad about the mask, some people is not mad about it. I mean, it's just contradicting, to be honest. Yes. But at the end of the day, you do have to live your life. And the people that I serve is like people that's homeless and or low income, and their rate is really low. right? And
Mm-hmm.
they're the type of people that don't have the ability to wash their hands and stuff like that all the time. So it's I don't want to say that it's not real, and I don't want to say that it's not serious, but I do want to say
Right.
that just be careful, basically.
Yes,
Yeah.
definitely. Be smart. Like for sure, be smart. Know that wearing a mask, I know a lot of people have their reasons for not, but if a mask is the is the filter between you catching this disease and not, like, you can wear a mask for a while, or you can make the choice to stay indoors if you have that opportunity, you know. So I mean, I wish everybody the best of luck out here as we all kind of take our own spin on this,
Yeah.
because we're all flying blind. We all don't have the right information that we need. We don't. And so I think that if we continue to just keep our distance and wear a mask and wash our hands if we can, if not, sanitizer, whatever you can do to keep yourself healthy, like that's what I say. Just do
So,
that.
so you hear that, guys. So with that being said, is if we need masks and gloves, etc., then you know people experience homelessness, need
Yeah.
multiple masks and gloves and hygiene equipment. So think about people experiencing homelessness too as well. So being that you're a program manager, where do you see yourself in like 5 years? How can you network and grow being that you're at home?
Actually, you can really do a lot. It's actually a really good time to network because everybody's at home, right? So
Hmm.
everybody's constantly checking whatever social media platform that they can every 5 minutes, right? Because they're at home. They're not really distracted by their coworkers. They're not easily distracted by many things that occur because you're at home alone or you're at home working. And so I found that it was a lot easier to network with people now than it was in the past. Like in the past, I would get like not a lot of responses. So now this is the best time for that. Where do I see myself in 5 years? I definitely see myself in a more senior executive level. I think that's always been my job, or always been my goal, is to, continue to climb this corporate ladder and to continue to break down doors for other people that look like me. And so that's where I see myself in 5 years. Now, which company? I love Conduent. Conduent's a great company, but I do have other goals, and I would love to accomplish those goals with Conduent. But you know, whatever opportunity, I'm very open to opportunities with other places and other experiences for sure. But yeah.
So how do someone that looks like you, right, get
Mhm.
into your position? How what is the steps? What is the baby? What is the baby steps? Because that's the question around here. Because we live here in San Francisco, and the one of the main goal is for tech companies to help minorities or people of color or
Mhm.
people experiencing homelessness. How can
Mhm.
someone get into be a program manager or a software developer, etc.?
Well, I would definitely say the start that really needs is education, right? So a lot of these tech companies, when you're thinking like the Netflix, the Googles, the big five is what they call them. So like they all really hold a lot of stock in education, and they, whether they say it or not, the reality is that they hold a lot of stock in prestigious schools as well. So having that education from a prestigious school. Now, if you were like me, where I grew up in the JC system, and then I went through the CSU system here in the Bay Area, um, you're very much so qualified to do the work as well. I mean, if I know someone who taught themselves how to code with no degree, they taught themselves and they got a job with Google. So it's all about your determination. How far are you willing to go to learn what you need to learn to be competitive in this environment? Because when it comes to the tech industry, like, we are the minority, right? for sure. And we're up against a lot of different other cultures and backgrounds. And a lot of them come from different countries. So like you're it's really a competitive arena, right? And so
Mm-hmm.
you just have to want it. You have to want it, and you have to keep pounding down every single door that you can until a door opens, and let that first door that opens be your foundation for getting as much information as you can, and you continue to build on your knowledge and you continue to move forward. And but it is a very competitive industry for sure.
But it's
So
possible.
it's absolutely possible. I mean, especially right now with the current, Black Lives Movement, and companies, with their pull up or shut up challenge, being mindful and really running the numbers of how many people of color do we have working here? How many Black people work here? Can we do better as a company? So I've noticed that a lot of companies um, have been very dedicated to increasing the numbers of Black employees or people of color, working and representing their companies, and that they are looking and they would love to start hiring more diverse people. So this is a perfect opportunity to get your foot in the door right now. And if it is just an executive assistant, or if it is just a receptionist, like, get your foot in the door, right? Once you're in, there's a runway of growth for you once you're in, because now as that receptionist, while you answer phones, you could be studying, you could be getting your education, you could then transition from that to the next position within that tech company where you were just answering phones, right? So definitely just get your foot in the door, and from there devise a plan to move up. It's very possible.
Thank you so much, because that really educates, the people that I serve, and also people that's watching Channel 29, because some people don't know where to look for, people of color or minorities, etc. So that's what I do too as well, help tech companies search for people that looks like
Mm-hmm.
you and I. So where
Mm-hmm.
where do you start if you was like a Google that's trying to help minorities? Where do you
Mm-hmm.
start? Where will you look at?
Well, the thing about those larger tech companies is that they have specific positions that are completely dedicated to finding like they have diversity and inclusion recruiters, right? So these individuals will look at HBCUs, and they will look through LinkedIn, they will look through different organizations like Black people or Black tech. I forgot. I don't have a name for a group per se, but there are a lot of network groups that are dedicated to Black people in the tech industry, right? They have an event every year just for Black people in tech, and I want to say it's the Black Tech Expo.
Mm-hmm.
Don't quote me on that. But they have these different events, and these particular individuals that are hired for diversity and inclusion recruiting, they target these networking groups or these colleges or these individuals just on LinkedIn, right? And they
Mm-hmm.
try to find the ones that are a better fit for what the position is looking for. So, I mean, the one thing that I can say is that you have to position yourself, put yourself in the position to be hired by one of these companies. And that really comes with meeting the basic needs to fill the positions that they have open. So yeah, they look everywhere. Um, if you're an individual who's not a part of a group, I recommend like you join a LinkedIn group, and you join, like, there's a bunch of different things that you can subscribe to or just join, and it costs you nothing to be a part of these seminars, these webinars, like, just get to a point where you're meeting other people, that you're trying to either work with these people or you're trying to, connect with these people. Just join something to get yourself out there.
Growing network. Thank you. Yes, thank you. Because that has definitely wrapped everything up, especially with, networking. A lot of people say, I don't know where to go. I want to be a techie. I want to do
Mm-hmm.
this. because if you're not in California, you're not exposed to the tech world. You're not
Mm-hmm.
exposed to, you don't even know what tech is. You just think like,
Right.
oh, Facebook or whatever. That's all you really think about. So you don't know the real details of it. So that just really breaks it down about where to even start. Go into some groups, get some mentors, and go on
Mm-hmm.
LinkedIn.
Mm-hmm.
Please tell them about LinkedIn, the power of LinkedIn. Just
LinkedIn is awesome. It's just, I mean, it's a place where I know for me, like, I have had a LinkedIn account for years, but I haven't actually I didn't start using it until like last year. Like, I didn't really put it to use. And the fact that I've met so many different people, like all over the country, like it's, and I have connected with them, or they have pushed me to other things outside of just my day-to-day job, but my investing and just like, preparing for retirement or like opening a business. Like, these are people that either they've reached out to me or I've reached out to them, and they've shared this information at no cost. Like, hey, join this webinar. Like, let me teach you about
Right.
stocks. You're like, teach me about stocks? Sure. And so just helping me, grow overall and like just better manage my money. And one thing that's important for me is generational wealth. So is to be able to give my son the advantages that I may not have had, and for him to be able to do that for his kids. So that is the power of LinkedIn, is that you are able, it's like any other social media platform, right? You're able to reach people that you would not otherwise have access to. Well, this is even better because you're able to reach people that you would not have access to in a professional setting. So that's what makes it super special. Like, I wish
Thank
I would have
you.
thought of it.
Right. Thank you. And they're really amazing as far as social impact. That's where I learned my front end development, coding and CSS and JavaScript
Mhm,
right at the bottom. So I really love LinkedIn, and I'm glad you touched on that, because a lot of people's like, what is that? I don't get it,
mhm,
etc.
mhm, mhm.
So I thank you so much for that. And I just want to go on something fun. And before we just wrap this up, what is something that, now it's COVID-19 and everything, and we can't go outside, and I know you already told me that where you wanted to be in 5 years, but what is something you always wanted to just you dreamed about and wanted to do as well, that you really
You
never told nobody?
My niece actually asked me this question yesterday. She was like, what was your dream job? And I was like, my dream job? So my dream job was to act, was to be an actor.
Mm-hmm.
To really just be an entertainer. Like, I know
Mm-hmm.
when I was young, I used to sing, I used to dance, I used to love to do these things. And I think like as you get older and like you
Reality and
start to,
stuff.
reality starts to set in real hard, and you're like, dang, I can't be the next Holly Berry. But that is something that was like my dream. And it's not like I don't have the opportunity. So one thing that I would like to do that I have never had the time to do, which I know is one of your questions, is to audition. Is to actually audition for something, right?
Yeah.
Just to see, because it's
Tyler
always gonna.
Perry, listen. I, we
I
really,
know I act better than some of them.
and this is the perfect time for that too as well.
I know.
This is
It's something that I want to do that I just haven't made time to do. Like, it's just one of those things where like, it's a dream, right? So I would say, don't, to your audience, like, chase your dreams. That is,
yeah.
people decide to do it. Some people don't, but it's always an option. You should always, and it works out for those who really want to live their dreams.
But you always have to have a plan B.
You should have a plan B. You should. But like, I never really tried to live my dream. I mean, I'm living my new dream, my more evolved dream,
Mm-hmm.
right? But in the beginning, it was definitely, I wanted to be an actress.
And are you okay right now? We are in the midst of this COVID-19 and the Black Lives Matter. And, are you okay? Are you dealing with your health? And, we all say that we're okay. But are you
Mhm,
okay? You this whole time you say you like to work, and you would be working,
mhm.
working, 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 working. But are you taking some time to relax as well and getting some time for yourself?
The one thing that I would recommend for our community for sure during this time is to find some kind of therapy and to talk to somebody, to say things out loud, because I know for me, I wasn't okay for a long time, and a lot of people are just now kind of seeing it because we're all at home and we have no choice but to see it, and it's coming at us from all different from different media sites. But for all of us that are within the Black community that has lived this, we know that this has been going on for years. For years, we've had to sit there and watch young Black men and women be killed by the police, and nothing happened. And at some point, it just makes you feel it makes you feel worthless as a human being. And it's almost like, well, what is my worth like? What is my life worth? And it makes you fearful for your children, right? So,
Especially because you
me,
have a boy, right?
yeah, I'm raising a young Black man, and I'm raising him in a suburban area. Like, he's like, can I go play basketball? And I'm like, no.
Yeah.
I'm like, no, you
Yeah, me
can't.
too with my daughter. Yeah, isn't that
Like,
funny?
I need to drive you. I need to be there. Because I don't trust that a lot of the individuals that, that we come into contact with on a day to day. Like, I don't, and then this whole situation and what's going on right now is only heightening that fear, either their fear of us or our fear of them. And so now we're just reacting to things without thinking things through. So at this point, no, I don't feel safe for him to go play basketball, away from me without me there, like walking to a place with his friends in our neighborhood. No. And I live in what is considered to be a good neighborhood, but it's good for certain people, right? It's safe for certain people. And we're not those people. So I think right now what I can say and what I can recommend is to really take into consideration the mental health implications of what's going on, like how they have a substantial, like they are detrimental to our mental health. Like, we can pretend like we're fine, and it happens all the time, and we just need to vote, but that's not true. Like, this is every day what you're seeing when you see another Black person killed by the police, and those police officers aren't arrested and there's no repercussions. What that is saying to you is that your life does not matter. Like, that is literally what they are saying to you every day, is that you can be murdered by a regular person, and for 3 months nobody investigate your murder until somebody slipped a video in there.
Right. But when you say people, Black people should, get therapy, etc., we get offended when you say you need therapy.
Oh yeah.
So how do you frame that to where we all understand that therapy is not a negative thing, and highlight it to as whereas we weak and we can't handle what's going on?
I think that, like, our generations before us had planted these seeds that we don't need therapy, or we don't need education, or we don't need, like, there are certain, but everything has evolved since then, right? So we have educated ourselves, right? So we could sit at some of these tables, so that we could open some of these doors that were otherwise closed off to us. So as every generation continues to change things, I think that we get better as a people and as a community. Let's not shut out or feel like therapy makes you weak, or therapy is exactly what the gym does for your body. It is a place where you can release negative energy and learn how to condition yourself to be more positive, and learn how to condition yourself to be a better person, to just really self-reflect on how you as an individual can get better. And that's what the gym does, right? So we don't have a problem with going to the gym,
Yeah.
do we? So that's what therapy is to me. I think that to put a negative spin on therapy is like Black people deal with depression. We deal with depression. We deal with suicide. We deal with all kinds of mental disorders. So
And
why
we need to
wouldn't
talk about more
right?
that
So
we hide, right?
why wouldn't we get the help that we need? Why would we suffer in silence? So to that individual who feels like a therapist makes you weak, but you're struggling with whether or not you should kill yourself, right? Like your life matters. Like
Right.
your hurt is real. And so you should have the opportunity to speak to someone about what you're feeling and what you're going through, because somebody does care. Someone does care, whether they're paid to care or not.
And there is also a lot of white people that's out there helping us too as well. So I
Absolutely.
think white people kind of get it confused to where they start hiding in a in a corner to where it's like, are they talking about me? Is I'm
Mm-hmm.
overwhelmed? Should I say something? Should I
Mm-hmm.
not say something? So what do you say to people that is trying to help but can't really say anything? Can't
Yeah, can't is
yeah.
that you can say something, like you can do something, you can say something. In fact, it's necessary. It's necessary. It's needed. And like I say all the time, like you can be an ally. You can be an ally. There are ways that you can be an ally. If you yourself are working in a company and you see that you take it upon yourself to notice that someone's being mistreated, then say something. Or if you notice that you're getting paid more because you're white, but you both do the same job, say something. Like, there's nothing wrong with asking questions as to why this is the way it is. And if the answer is because that's
I'm
just
trying to
how the
protect
system works.
myself. I also try to protect myself too as well. If I say something to a boss, I might get fired, right? And
Right.
then
There are always ways to, and we live in California, so like employees are very much so protected under the law. So it's kind of like there's always a way to ask a question without blaming or assuming that it's the worst, right? So to what I say to our allies, whether they're white, Latino, Asian, whatever, to our allies, don't feel like, so to me, it's just as bad as to not say something when you see things that are wrong as it is to just flat out be a racist. To me, they're one and the same. They're one and the same to me. So to our allies, I hope that you do speak up. I hope that you aren't fear. We are fearful every day, except for at least our fear is genuine and real because it could cost us our life. So you not saying something today could cost someone their life tomorrow. So say something for sure.
wow, this is very touching, and it's, really hit a lot of key points to what I talk to with my clients, face to face. And I also use these videos, like I said before, to go to Glide and, the Tenderloin, and actually show them videos because they don't have the resources to actually see it face to face.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm glad that you touched on a lot of topics. And do you have anything else to say, to the audience? You were super fun. We got to know you and everything.
I guess the one thing I would say is, like vote. Like that is so important. We're getting ready to vote November here. It's so important that we all get out there and vote. Um, just please, just vote, so that we can make these changes. And these changes may not seem like they directly affect us, but they do, right? So, if we have someone who's sitting in office who's racist and doesn't care about the lives of Black people and the struggles in which Black people go through or people of color go through, period, then we can't make things happen at the local administrative levels, right? So that means that the funding's not there. So if the funding's not there, then the resources aren't there for everybody. And just, to the individuals that are listening to this video, like I would say, um, it is my goal ever since I met you, Erica, which I met you. I didn't even
Yeah.
actually met you, but one of the things that you did is you absolutely woke my game up to how I'm helping the community that I live in, as well as just I've seen how the numbers of homeless individuals have increased due to gentrification alone, right? And I have done nothing but, kind of complain about it, but I haven't actually physically done anything. And so since meeting you, I've made it very important for both me and my son to do more as far as with, homelessness in Oakland, and just overall how I can help individuals that are in need, that look like me. Like, I need to do what I need to do. And so now you woke my game up. So the one thing I would say is, I apologize for not being woke to this issue prior, but I know now going forward, like, this is going to be a part of my
Well,
5 years.
good.
Yeah, for sure.
That's
Like,
my
this
goal.
is.
Well, it was so good to talk to you. Thank you
Thank
so much
you.
for coming in the show, The Homeless Diary.